As a new year begins, I like to look at my life and notice what has actually been supporting me and what has slowly been pulling me in the wrong direction. When you pay attention for long enough, you start to see certain patterns and habits and expectations that maybe made sense at one point in your life but don't fit that well anymore, and it is time to let them go. So here are the 10 things that I'm quitting in 2026 to make my life feel a little lighter, a little calmer, and a lot more intentional. The first one is the belief that I need to hold everything together all the time. A lot of us carry this belief, and I have definitely had it too. It's something many of us learn pretty early, whether from family or school or just the way society talks about being responsible. You start to believe that being dependable means being on top of everything all the time, and you don't want to disappoint anyone, so you take on more than you even notice. The problem is that this way of thinking slowly drains you. Your mind stays alert, ready for the next task. Even when there's nothing urgent happening, you might walk around with these mental checklists running in the background, and you are physically there all the time, but your thoughts are already in the next moment. And I have paid attention to how things go when I just loosen my grip a little, and I have noticed that life still moves forward just fine. People around me don't expect this level of control anyway, and most things don't fall apart when I let them be. So letting go of this belief feels like giving myself a permission to live with a softer pace, trusting that most things work out without that constant control. 2. Goals that keep me running instead of living. I've noticed that some goals don't really come from us, or at least from the person who we are today. They come from old seasons of life, from comparison, or from the idea that aiming incredibly high is always the smart thing to do, because even if you miss the mark, you still end up further than you expected. I have heard this many times. And I think that there can be some truth in that, and it can push you when you actually want to grow. But the downside is that you feel like you are always leaning into the next thing that has to be so big. Goals slowly shift from being helpful to mental pressure, and before you notice it, your days feel rushed in a way that you never intended. So in 2026, I want to remember that sustainable growth comes from choosing what matches your life, not from the intensity for the sake of it. And that smaller goals leave space for living, and they actually simplify the year instead of filling it. If you would like to go deeper into this idea of simplifying in a way that fits you, your life situation, and your goals, I am currently running a New Year sale on my course, Simple Life Blueprint. It's built for people who want a calmer, more balanced way of living, and where your routines actually support you instead of pulling you in 10 different directions. If you have been thinking about joining, now is a pretty good moment, at least with the 50% off discount. The link is in the description below if you would like to check it out. Then we have borrowing time from my sleep. Sleep is one of those things that I never really had to think about before. If I stayed up a bit later to finish a movie or worked on something in the evening, it didn't feel like a big decision. I could always sleep a little longer the next morning, or take slower the next day, and everything balanced out without much effort. My routine allowed that kind of flexibility for a long time, but now life has changed in a pretty big way. In case you didn't see my community post from a couple of weeks ago, we welcomed a baby, I became a dad, so things have changed quite a bit when it comes to schedules. Now suddenly sleep isn't this open resource I can adjust whenever I want. Even though it's a very beautiful season of life right now, the nights are very short and very unpredictable. I notice how much heavier everything gets when my body doesn't get enough rest, and how quickly my energy disappears when I try to live like I still have the same freedom I had. So I have understood that sleep is not something I can treat casually anymore. It's something that I really need to protect. I cannot rely on willpower to carry me through all these weeks and months or even years, because it just doesn't make sense in this season. So now when I get a chance to lie down, I need to take it. Even if the day isn't fully finished, even if something else could be done, it's a simple shift, but it really will help me to enjoy life more, I'm sure. And the fourth one is the pressure to keep my home always clean and tidy. Ever since I was a kid, I have carried this pressure that the home should always look clean and tidy, almost like it says everything about who you are as a person. I think many parents teach their kids these values. And there are so many messages around us that a responsible person, and these days I guess like a good minimalist, keeps everything spotless. And when that becomes your default mindset, even small messes create tension. A few dishes in the sink or clothes on the chair feel bigger than they actually are, and the home slowly turns into a project you manage instead of a place that you live in. The problem here is that constant tidying takes a lot of energy you might need somewhere else, like realistically speaking. You start to notice that keeping everything perfect pulls you away from the things that you actually want to be present for. And in this season of my life, with a baby at home, I have had to accept that the house will look a bit messy sometimes, and that is completely fine. There will be moments of natural chaos, and trying to fight it doesn't or will not make life easier. And I know that this will be a bit hard for me because tidiness has been a very big part of my life for so long, but I have to remember that a simple home doesn't need to be spotless. It doesn't have to be perfect. It just needs to support you or support me. The number 5 is buying cheap to save money. I've always loved the feeling of saving money in the moment. I'm sure you can relate to this as well. There's something really satisfying about finding the cheaper option and feeling like you have made a smart choice. But over the years, I have noticed a pattern that probably feels familiar to many people watching my channel. These cheaper things tend to break sooner than you expect, and then you replace them and sometimes replace them again and again. And before you know it, you have spent more than if you had just bought the better version from the start. And this mindset also brings clutter in your home. Items you don't fully like or don't fully trust start to pile up, and that is when you realize that choosing quality and investing a bit more is pretty smart after all. I've been focusing on this for quite some time already and even made some videos about it, but I really want to lean into it more. So thinking in terms of lifespan, not just the price tag. If you want to see some items I already have that fall into this buy it for life list, I actually made a video about them recently. I'll link it here so you can check it out. And then we have this mindset of always trying to feel happy and positive, and not just appearing that, but really trying to feel it. It is surprisingly easy to fall into this mindset. Like a lot of this ideology comes from old self-improvement habits, at least for me, that told me to monitor my mood and adjust my thoughts and stay grateful, stay calm, stay productive all at the same time. And when that message is everywhere, I started to believe that happiness should be the default setting for my life. But once you begin checking your emotional state too often, I have realized that it really stops feeling natural. Emotions turn into something that you manage instead of something that you just live. A normal, tired day starts to feel like a problem. Feeling anxious or low feels like you are doing everything wrong. And the guilt that comes with that creates even more pressure on top of everything else. So what I want to create is a simpler relationship with emotions. So letting them come and go without trying to shape them into something ideal. Letting a rough moment just be what it is and moving on when it passes. Accepting that a simple life doesn't mean perfect emotional control, doesn't mean all the time feeling this calmness. It just means that you don't add more pressure on top of the day. And when that pressure starts to soften, everything else feels easier to carry, I'm sure. The next thing to quit is the need to stay up to date with everything. We open apps, then another, and then maybe scroll through some news or comments, and often it's not even about like curiosity anymore. It's just a habit that you have taught yourself. Part of it, for sure, may come from like wanting to feel connected, like you are not missing anything actually like important, but also part of it is fear of being the one who is out of the loop, who doesn't know or understand things. I have reduced this a lot in the past year, but it is still something that I want to get even better at. Because when you step back a little, you notice that most updates, most news, most things don't change anything in your life. They don't shape your day, they don't improve it, and life actually feels different. It feels calmer when you let yourself move at your own pace instead of, for example, the internet's pace. Then we have a bit more practical one, and this is the habit of skipping meal prep. This is one thing that adds more stress to my days than I like to admit. It usually hits me in those moments when I open the fridge and realize that there's nothing ready to turn into a relatively quick meal. I'm already hungry, already low on energy, but I still have to start everything from scratch. And the moment I notice a missing ingredient, the whole plan falls apart and I end up staring at the counter trying to figure out what to do next. I guess this is just normal, we all have moments like this, but it's a fact that because of it, stress reactions get stronger, patience drops, and instead of feeling grounded in your own kitchen, you start to feel just frustrated. And that is usually when the quick, unhealthy options start to look very appealing, even though they don't really support steady energy or a healthy lifestyle at all. So for me, meal prep wouldn't necessarily here be so much about like being perfectly organized with all my food. It would be just about lowering stress, about making sure that I don't have to think so hard about something that happens basically every single day, multiple times. When there's something simple already prepared, my mind feels lighter. So preparing one or two just basic things that can turn into quick meals, keeping a few reliable ingredients in the fridge, and even cooking just a bit of extra rice so tomorrow starts smoother. These are very small things, but they help a lot to make life feel simpler. Number 9. The guilt around wanting a bit more comfort. Comfort is one of those things that many of us treat like a reward, not like a normal part of life. You may have grown up hearing that it's quite unnecessary or even a bit wasteful, and over time you started to feel like wanting a softer blanket or a nicer coffee or just a slower morning is something that you needed to justify. At least for me, it has been this pressure to prove that I can live simply without any extras, like being super low maintenance is a real sign of like strength. But when that mindset goes too far, it really turns minimalism or simplifying life into something empty instead of something that supports you. And what I want moving forward is a bit different approach, because I don't believe that comfort is the opposite of simplicity. It doesn't have to mean consuming more or filling your home with things that you don't need. A well-chosen intentional comfort item or habit or anything basically can actually reduce stress and make daily life flow more smoothly. Sometimes a softer pace or small moment of ease is exactly what you need. And this turns minimalism into something nurturing instead of restrictive. Then we have the fear of looking like I am not progressing. This one is connected to the second point I talked about, so how massive goals can push you into a way of living that feels more like running than actually being present. And when you live with that mindset for long enough, slow seasons, these times where not a lot of things are happening, can start to give you a lot of fear. You get this small thought in the back of your mind that you should be doing more or moving faster, especially when you hear others talk about their big goals. What helps remembering is that progress is not the point of every season. Some periods are for building, some are for reflecting, and some are simply for being. Being consistent with your values matters more than constantly improving them, and many times the real progress actually starts in stillness. Slow periods are part of a healthy rhythm, not a sign that you are falling behind. And if you want support in building a year that isn't shaped by pressure and comparison, remember to check out my course, Simple Life Blueprint, with the New Year sale. Thank you so much for watching. Remember to stay kind and meaningful in your own beautiful journey. See you in the next one.